All right, so I'm here with Dr. Phillip Vines from the University of Georgia. So one interesting thing that happened when I was down here is you know that the Tifway or Tifton is known for all the Tifway Bermuda grasses, or Tifway 419, Tif Eagle, Tif Green. But I did not realize they also do cool season grass testing and development. So, Dr. Vines, if you wouldn't mind, explain why cool season grass testing in South Georgia where it's hot and where this really shouldn't work.
Yeah, no, great question, Ron. Appreciate the question. So Tifton is a very unique location here in Georgia. We have a lot of diversity across our state, particularly as you travel south in our state to Macon. You'll see a soil change, and we'll get into a coastal plain soil, which is very sandy compared to north of Macon, where we have more of a Piedmont, heavier clay soil. And what that allows us to do is get really good drought stress on our grasses.
Okay.
And we also get good disease pressure here as well. And historically, as you mentioned, with a lot of the Tifway, Tif Sport, Tif Tufts, being that they were selected right here, they were really strong grasses, and they performed really, really well. And so we're doing the similar thing with these cool season grasses, in that we're bringing them here in Tifton, and we're running them through that system where we're selecting for better drought tolerance, better disease resistance, lower input requirements. And then, here's an example. Hopefully you can pick it up on the camera, but this is a plot here, and you can see it's pretty much all dead.
Right.
And then right here is one that's still doing okay. And there's some in this trial that are even, kind of bright shining stars. If you told me in Tifton, Georgia, that made it through the summer we just came through, that's pretty good. Now, to be clear, I'm not breeding these grasses for Tifton, Georgia. That would be a little insanity. But we are using this location to select really, really strong individuals, and we're taking those further north in the state to do our breeding work. And then even in North Georgia, in the North Georgia mountains, we're selecting for more broad adaptation. So the end result there is that we've got a really strong, resilient population or cultivar that will then be broadly adapted and used throughout the country.
So this all starts out as you have one stand and you have some outliers that for some reason just tolerate the heat, the stress, the disease better. And then you take these and take the winners and try and figure out why and further improve them. Is that in a nutshell?
Yeah, in a nutshell, that's it. But through breeding, we're recombining and making crosses, and we're recombining those favorable traits. In this case, it's better disease resistance, better drought tolerance. And we're recombining those into new populations that have more numbers of those favorable alleles through a breeding scheme. And so then what we're left with, through an effective breeding project is improved trait. In this case, it would be improved drought tolerance or disease resistance in new populations as we move these forward in our breeding program.
Very cool. And this we're dealing with here, this is a fescue, is what we're dealing with?
Yes, this is tall fescue that we're standing on. This whole trial here is tall fescue. And as you can see, some of the plots in here just are not tolerating this stress at all. So they're not drought tolerant, they're not disease resistant, etc. But then we have those that still look very, very good. And so we move these types forward.
It's interesting, because fescue is one of the few cool season grasses that actually, up where I am in North Georgia, that it seems to be, with enough water, you can kind of make it work. But I also saw you guys had, I think, some perennial ryegrass down here as well, which again should be impossible. We're in November.
Yeah.
And when was this put in, that section?
This perennial ryegrass was put in fall of 2024. It was a seeded trial. And we seeded it once in fall of 2024, and we have not added any more seed. And a lot of this trial did not survive that summer stress that we had in the summer of 2025 here in Tifton. But there are some breeding lines in this trial that have persisted. Now, they're not beautiful yet, but this is early in our breeding and cultivar development pipeline for perennial ryegrass. But as you can see here, again, we have our plots outlined. There's quite a number of individuals within this breeding line that are persisting and surviving this summer, and you can find other plots in here that are doing the same. And so through breeding, we come into those plots that have a large number of individuals that have that trait we're looking for. And then we select these from the field and we move those forward in our breeding program and cross those. All the good ones, we cross them together, and then we're moving that forward in our breeding program. So the next cycle if we have a good breeding scheme, we'll have more and more of these plots that are persisting better. And then within these populations, within these plots, we'll see more and more individuals there. And then ultimately, the goal would be to be more like we are with tall fescue, where we're persisting through the summer stress. And so, you know, for athletic fields or places where perennial ryegrasses are used as a lawn grass in more northern climates, you know, they face heat stress in the summer as well. You think about a place like Ohio, they have really hot summers, humid summers. They face the same stresses we have here,
Right.
but it's for a shorter period in the summer. And so the goal here is that if we can improve the stress performance of these grasses through our breeding in Tifton, then when these grasses are utilized in other parts of the country, they're going to be even more resilient through that summer stress.
That makes sense. And you guys are uniquely positioned to do that kind of testing because of where you are. So even though we may not be necessarily growing perennial ryegrass and running this all year round in Georgia, the research you do here will help produce better cultivars that, you know, up north will perform better.
Yeah, you got it. Spot on. You know, we have really unique locations here. And just like you said, you know, in some places you don't have this type of environment, so you can't do this screening naturally in the field. So, you know, we might do a controlled environment screening to select individuals like this. But we have naturally occurring drought, heat, disease, etc. here in Tifton. So this is a really good location for us to select those individuals that perform really well.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Vines, really do appreciate you taking the time, one, to invite me out, but then also to see how, you know, the grasses that we love so much, how they all come to be. I really, really appreciate and respect all the research you and your team are doing, and, you know, wish you guys all the best success.
Anytime. Thank you so much, Ron.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you.